Hey everyone. So recently I finished building the Libertywalk wide body Lamborghini Aventador for my 4-year-old son. Basically, they do sell this kit from the original Libertywalk company. But the whole kit with the car, I think it's gonna be like $2,100 US dollar, which I don't have the money for a toy or such toy that is. So I decided to build my own. I started with this factory. I believe it was called Rastar, Rastar. You can get it from Toys R Us, Amazon for about $220 or so. That's how much I paid for mine. So the build, I mean, it looks pretty realistic to the real car. Here's the underside of the factory suspension. As you can see, the first thing I would want to do is widen the wheels and lower the front. And there's like a pin that goes through the original mounting hole. So I grinded that little section off like by an inch or two. And here's the back of the motor side of the back suspension, which will also be modified later on. So here is the part that I'm gonna grind off. So the car will then be sitting that much lower. I grind a little slot in the original pin where the new mounting bracket's gonna go on top, and then after the wheels been widened with that little bracket that I made, the control arm or the steering arm needs to be extended as well. So I cut up a piece of aluminum bar, and pretty much throughout the project I used a combination of rivets and bolts, whichever one's easier, or if some parts need to be really tight, then I would go with the bolts and nuts. So right here with the front end modified, it's been widened. It's been the custom bracket to extend the original mounting hole. As you can see from the bolt, that's where the original mounting hole is, and then the far right is where the new position where the wheels can be mounted on. And then here's the top side where I have the extended bolt, I mean the pin going through. So here's the aluminum bar extended, and there you go. You have the front widened and lowered, completed for now. It sticks out quite a bit, and it's much lower than it was. Now going to the back side, we have the motor on one end and only on one end. So first of all, I'm gonna chop off only the back side of the bucket where they hold the batteries and the control panels and all that stuff. I'm gonna cut that entire piece off by grinding it, and there you go. You have that piece totally cut out. And to stay cheap for this project and sturdy, I used 2x4 wood blocks. I then screw the wood block onto the bottom of the car, and I have to chop off the original axle or the bar that connects the both wheels. It's going to be mounted individually on the back side instead of one whole piece holding both wheels. I'll show you why in later on in this video. So I have these door lock. You could get all these stuff from Home Depot, by the way. So here is how I'm gonna mount the back wheels. The back side of the wheel is gonna have a little bit of camber, as well as the front. By the way, I torched the arm and bent it upward. So here's how I secured the wheel, the bar that holds the wheels. I'll just call it axle right now. And notice I have two nuts on the bottom to kind of lift the center up. That's what's gonna give that camber angle. And here's some more photo of the original back suspension. So here's me mounting the wheels of the back wheels, and here you see the middle of the back wheels section is lifted up, and that gives that negative camber angle, and it's gonna be even on both sides. And you can move it around. And so here's we have a problem here with the extended wheels. When the car turns, it's gonna hit the bumper. Here's how it sits, with all four corners modified, lowered, and widened, and camber out. And see how I had to cut out a whole lot of rubber around the fender, just like you would with a real car when you go wide body, or you want to cut out original fender area so you have more clearance. So it's time to work on the power. So it used to be 6-volt single battery. For this project, I'm gonna go with a dual 12-volt motor with a 12-volt battery. So that's gonna, I think it's supposed to double the power, but I pretty much triple the power. So here is just a rough idea of it's a trial and error. So I failed a couple times making the fender. I thought it was gonna be easier. So here's just some arts and craft foam sheet things that I formed the fender with. Then later I use clay. I bought like 5 pounds or so of clay, which took forever to come, by the way. It took me like 2 orders and 3-4 weeks because they never shipped to me. But anyway, so here's how excuse me. So here is how I formed the Libertywalk white fender. It looks pretty good from the model clay, but I had a problem with when it dries. It wants on the thin edges it would lift up. I don't know if you could see it, but at the tip where the headlight area is starting to lift away from the body panel. So when it dries, it's no longer the original shape. So this is not the final method how I make the flare. I just wanted to show you. I thought it was pretty cool during the time I was making it. So here it is. It was dried. I actually ended up making it 3 times or so. So I have it sitting on the side, so that way any part that would lift because of gravity, I guess it will hold it down. Here's me making a DIY suction vacuum foam box, which will be used to attempt to making the fender flare. The intention was to use the clay, the hardened clay, to basically be the mold and like a negative mold, and or actually the positive mold, and then using the melted plexiglass or latex, whichever material you're gonna use. So here's the process of another DIY. I use a box to hold the heat within, and so I have a portable stove, and here, as you can see, as I pushes it down and the vacuum the suction kicks in, it broke the positive clay mold, and here's the result of the negative mold, which should be the final piece of the fender. And again, here's the cracked up mold. So this is this is the final and working method I end up using for making the fender flare, which is a lot more simple. Basically, I created a paper template like so, and there's a couple bends required, and those are the hard edges crease that I already created here. There's 2 here, and basically cut out the shape of the paper, chasing off the paper, the template on the plexiglass, and just cut it out and heat it up with a heat gun and bent it, and then this is the final result. So going back to the rear wheels, with the new motor mounting, I use these clamps to kind of be a stopper for the motor, so it doesn't go all the way in, as it would slide left and right in the bar. So that's just a stopper I made. So going with the wiring and circuit stuff with the new motor. Here's the picture of the original motor. I have no idea what this piece on top is, but regardless, we're not going to use it anyway. So here's just some photos of the soldering, and here's the circuitry, the diagram, the connection diagram that I followed in order to get the connection connected properly. Because without it, with the circuit board, it's I have many failure attempt trying to hook it up correctly. But if you follow the connection diagram, you'll be fine. So here's the car painted. I finished with all the suspension, finished with all the electrical. So I went ahead and plastic dipped it with flat or matte white with some pearl finish. And as you can see, I also added like the what do you call it, like a gasket around the flares, between where the connection between the flare joins the car body. I actually ended up using electric tape and just kind of go over the edges. Looks pretty clean. And here's the fender. I ended up making another set of the front fender because there's some warping, distorting. You can see at the tip of by the headlight area. So I think this is the new piece already. Yeah, so you can see that there's no more awkward warping going on in the front area. So I start bolting it in with just some bolts and nuts you can find at Home Depot. And here it is. It's the final product with my nephew in the car. And as you can see, I also added police siren and actually a PA system as well. So as you can see, it's pretty quick. I don't have a video of the before the power, the original speed of the car. It's like 2 miles per hour, which your kid's gonna grow out of it or get bored with the speed really quickly. So As you can see, there's loads of torque. I would say this is like more like 6-7 miles per hour now. That's why I'm having her, my daughter, wearing her helmet while she's driving it. From 2 miles to 6-7 miles. That's why I said it's probably more than double the power, more like 3 times the power. You can see the kids are having a lot of fun with it. I also have a Mini Cooper, as you can see. It's also dual motors, and as you can see, he did a little burnout just now with a lot of torque going on. So the front wheel got locked up because of the steering. I guess I still have to cut out more from the original body. As he's turning, the wheels kind of get stuck to the body. But overall, I mean, it looks awesome, and it's much quicker. And you know, by the time they're done with it, I'll probably be cleaning it all up, repaint it if needed, and it's gonna make a pretty good display item in the house. But for now, you know, they're gonna have fun with it, and I had fun building this project, and I definitely did not spend over $2,000, you know, for this project, and which I would have if I were to buy the original kit for it. So this is my DIY Lamborghini Aventador Libertywalk kit. I hope you enjoyed this video, and hopefully you can build your own too. Thank you.